Once upon a time, in a beautiful kingdom, there lived a young princess. She had everything she could ever want: fine dresses, sparkling jewels, and a grand palace, but her favorite thing in the world was a small golden ball. Every afternoon, she would go into the forest near the palace and play beside a cool, deep well. She would toss her golden ball into the air and catch it again, laughing as it shimmered in the sunlight. One day, however, she threw the ball a little too high. It slipped from her hands, bounced once, and fell straight into the well. She ran to the edge and looked down, but the well was so deep and dark that she could not see the bottom. The princess began to cry. Suddenly, a voice spoke from behind her. "Why are you crying, princess?" She turned and saw the small frog. She answered, "I dropped my golden ball into the well. It is very dear to me, and I cannot get it back." The frog tilted his head and said, "I can help you, but what will you give me in return?" The princess quickly replied, "Anything you want, my jewels, my crown, anything." The frog shook his head. "I do not want your jewels. I want to be your friend. Let me sit beside you at your table and sleep in your room." The princess hesitated, but she wanted her golden ball more than anything. "All right," she said, without thinking too much. "I promise." The frog jumped into the well. After a few moments, he came back holding the golden ball in his mouth. He dropped it at her feet. The princess was overjoyed. She grabbed the ball and ran back to the palace, forgetting all about the frog and her promise. That evening, the princess sat at the dinner table with the king, her father. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. A servant opened the door, and to everyone's surprise, the little frog hopped inside. "Princess," he croaked, "I have come for what you promised." The princess's face turned pale. She tried to ignore him, but the king noticed her discomfort. "Daughter," he said, "what is this about?" Reluctantly, she told him everything. The king frowned and said firmly, "A promise is a promise. You must keep your word." The frog hopped closer. The princess, though unwilling, allowed him to sit on her chair and eat from her plate. Finally, the frog said, "Now I am tired. Take me to your room so I may sleep." Inside her room, the princess placed the frog in a corner, but the frog spoke again. "You promised that I could sleep in your bed." In a moment of anger, she picked up the frog and threw him against the wall. But instead of a thud, there was a flash of light. To her amazement, the frog was gone. In his place stood a handsome young prince. He said, "Thank you, princess. You have freed me from a curse. A witch turned me into a frog, and only true companionship could break the spell." The princess was filled with surprise and shame. She realized that she had judged him by his appearance. The prince forgave her kindly. Over time, they became true friends, and soon, their friendship grew into love. The next day, the prince invited the princess to his kingdom. They traveled together in a golden carriage. In time, they were married and ruled wisely, always remembering the importance of honesty and keeping one's word. And so, they lived happily ever after.